everybody. Welcome to Coffee Club Podcast, episode 58. We're here today with a very special guest, Kate Grace. How you doing, Kate?
Great. Good to be here.
Very good to be here.
I didn't even ask you. Are we looking at this camera?
Well, I mean, what other? First question: what other camera would you look at?
I thought you were looking at that.
The computer.
I mean,
it's actually just a Morgan.
It's just Morgan. Like, you don't see anybody else. It's just Morgan on the camera.
Actually, there's just a Gus cam. That's our goal. Is just to have a Gus cam. Just our voices in the background.
That is our goal, to get like a cam on the side of like the recording, and it's just a GoPro clip of him. Just like with his head just wandering around.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Once we get sponsored by GoPro, that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
GoPro,
hit us up.
Yeah, shout out to GoPro. We would love to make that happen. But no, I would not look at the camera. I would look at us. If you look into a camera when you're doing an interview, it's actually, like, I've done that before and then gone back and watched it, and it's pretty off-putting. Like, I think sometimes you're meant to. But it's other, like, if you're just staring into the camera, it's like just a little too much. It's way more natural if you're looking at the people that you're talking to.
You can lose train of thought really quick too. If you just like stare into it.
I'm looking into it right now.
Forget the question that you got to answer.
Yeah. Okay. I'll look at you.
And also, I think there's I don't know what our percentage is, but a lot of people just listen to the audio version as well. The YouTube version is just for the real fans.
The diehards.
Yeah.
The only fans.
But
so really do whatever you want.
Yeah, go crazy. That's what Gus normally does. But very happy to have Kate on. We've tried to get her on for a little bit. It's very cool to have her on this week because massive news in her life, which we're going to talk about. I don't even know how to say it. Can I just, before we say it, like, we really wanted to have you on for a while, even before the news. And then when the news, like, we found out about it, we were like, obviously we want to have her on maybe even more now, but also at the same time, it's like we're not necessarily like the best platform to discuss that stuff because we just know fucking nothing. So we're going to get educated today. But
yeah, I can teach you.
Yeah, Kate announced some very special news on her birthday, same day as George's birthday. What was it?
I'm pregnant.
Yay!
So my first question is, how do you get pregnant?
How does that happen? My mom's told me, but I don't believe her.
I love how you announced it on my birthday.
Yeah, it was a present for you.
Yeah.
Which I also have a present for you, but it can come later if you want.
Wait, but for George or for everyone?
For George. We were birthday twins.
Okay.
We just discovered we're birthday twins.
So if you, my parents listen to this and they know how I react in this situation, when I was younger, if it was someone else's birthday, they had to get me a present as well. Otherwise, I would throw a temper tantrum. So, like, I'm going to try hold it in, but I'm just saying. Like,
okay, maybe it's for all of you. How about
that? That definitely triggered Morgan. I don't think we're coming back from it.
It did trigger it. Fuck.
I don't think we're coming back from it. He's pretty triggered.
It's for all of you. It's for all of you.
That's a
I'm gonna be honest though, I didn't get you anything. So
this is the joke present. It's not. You'll see. So.
Well, you can just take Gus. I think you can just.
Okay, I'll take him for a day.
You can just have Gus for your birthday.
Do you want to just give the present now that we talked about it? I'm very excited to see what it
is. This is what I took in 5 minutes before I left the house.
Oh my goodness.
Unwrapping live unboxing.
The giving tree?
It's a kid's... Well, I also don't know. Do you all know this? So it's like a classic kids book. All I have is kids books right now. Oh,
nice.
But I realized that none of you were American. So did you all grow up with this book?
I've never seen this in my whole life.
Never seen
it.
No.
Never.
Is it a very popular book
it's like
in
a
America?
class. Okay, so it actually is for all of you. It's like a classic kids book in America. And... That's what it looks like.
This is a kid's book?
That's scary.
Yeah. The Giving Tree is like the most classic kids book. All I have is kids book because I'm pregnant right now. Anyway, so then I thought like, so it was going to be a joke, but then I'm like, actually, maybe you all never have read it. And it's a great book. So
that's a crazy present to give us.
I can't believe you're
about to have a kid. You're going to need that back pretty soon.
Am I meant to give you this back in like however many months?
Well, it's just because it's... Also, this, I don't actually know what this is. I just like picked something in my present box, and I think I know what it is. But yeah, so it's a surprise.
I think you just rip it.
Should I rip it? Should I rip into it? It's probably really annoing, like wrestling on the mic.
Well, you just made it worse by bringing it closer to the mic.
It's ASMR. Oh my god, that's actually
Fingerless gloves?
It's actually not what I thought it was.
How did you know?
That's great. I think it's maybe a regift, but yeah, I just saw it in there.
Have you listened to enough pods to know that we're like huge on fingerless gloves?
No.
Yeah, we are pretty big on that.
That's like a
honestly,
big
okay, then it was planned.
That looks amazing. That looks so cool to
I used to wear fingerless gloves so much that Ollie went and bought some.
Yeah, honestly.
And then I lost mine, so now only Ollie wears them, so now I don't actually have any fingerless gloves.
Really?
Yeah, I'm out.
I've lost two pair. I've lost a pair as well. I only have one pair left.
So
I don't know
this
where my
is
black
amazing.
pair's gone.
So now I'm actually jealous.
That's so funny. I'm looking at them now. I thought it was a headband, but this is. I think someone may have made this for me. I think someone may have given this to me as like as a gift that I'm
okay,
getting.
what are you doing?
It's now yours. They're yours.
No chance that person's listening to the
Yeah,
pod.
hopefully that person's not listening to the podcast.
This is like not even a joke prison anymore. Now I feel worse. Like this is like a real prison.
I thought it was going to be like a female headscarf that was going to be a joke, but this is great. This is a surprise for us all.
There's a
Let me just
lovely,
read them.
especially if they're like homemade, handmade.
Yeah.
By
Handmade?
Kate's friend.
I
Dude,
think
these things freaking dope.
Damn. Well,
All right, I'll think of something during the pod to give you.
no, seriously, it was meant to be a joke, but I'm happy that you like them.
well, thank you very much for that, Kate. We're gonna have to go through this book. I would say our equivalent to this, which I know you have this in the US as well, but this looks like it'd be like a Dr. Seuss book.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, yeah.
Like we
Those
just
green
crushed-
eggs
We grew up on
crushed
that.
Dr. Seuss. Yeah.
So did you guys never have Shel Silverstein?
Silverstein, I don't think so.
No.
He's
never
like
heard.
yeah, he's just like he makes funny kids poems. But yeah, interesting.
Well, we'll have to have
I
a
can
little
practice
house read.
reading. I have to like learn how to read. Maybe I can like come read to you guys or something.
Yeah, we have to go in the little cost and get it out.
Just to practice before.
I know you guys don't have to practice. I'll be fine.
Yeah. So we're going to start this episode by, I think, just giving a little update on what's going on in our lives. And I think that'll probably end with Kate's update because that's going to obviously be like a big part of this. So us boys, because we haven't really talked about what's been going on for us running wise for a little bit because it's just been getting back into training and stuff. We're back at like 80% training, I would say. Getting into those workouts. We had the On Summit last week, which was like 3 days of fun. It was actually really cool this year.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
I think that was like because sometimes you dread situations where it's just constant. Like you have these lectures you go
We have
on,
like
these
12 hours a day
PowerPoints
and
and stuff like that, and trying to break it up. But I think we all had a great time. I think the On team had a great time too. So
How'd
that was nice.
How'd you guys feel about Murder Mystery?
Terrible. But I think the nice thing about that was it was so bad that people actually just made fun of it.
Did
and
you
I think
guess
they
the right
enjoyed
guy?
it. Huh?
Did you guess the right dude?
Oh, that Peter guy was super weird. And also, like, he was walking around taking photos of people, so I thought he was actually legit a photographer for half of it. And then the other half, I'm like, this guy is super sus. He's definitely with... And then I saw these two random people we've never seen before in on gears just sitting down. I'm like, these are obviously actors. They're not... We don't have any idea who these are.
There was this creepy dude called Peter, who ended up being the killer, for context. The biggest giveaway was that he was the only person not wearing on shoes, and out of like 60 people.
He
Like,
also
this dude's
didn't have like
he
a
was wearing
real
Essex
like,
or something.
made-up name. Everyone had a made-up name. Morgan was Morgan McStupid Face.
That was my name.
You
Great
were
name.
David Rose.
Back on a Schitt's Creek.
I was Jolly Horseface.
Yeah.
And then the guy's name was just Peter. Everyone else had like normal like weird names and stuff. So it was just weird. It was a weird night, but in general, overall, I think very positive, very good time.
Yeah, okay, that was one of our three. We had evening activities for the thing, and yeah, this was Dathan's idea, so we were trying to not like rag on it too much, but I don't think we're going to be doing it again. But yeah, it was like a full murder mystery dinner with actors and shit. And what I think would have been really cool is if the murderer had been one of us, like one of the on people.
That's what I
Like,
thought.
Yeah.
that would have been cool, and then it would have been more of like, I don't know, a game, but it was just one of the actors.
I was actually hoping it was you when you went on and did your thing. I was like, it'd actually be funny if it
would be
was
funny.
Morgan.
I thought it was Yared because he brought a stick. He actually brought a stick, like a massive.
He brought his
he leans
cane.
on this like prayer stick. He brought it to the murder mystery. I'm like, this is definitely a weapon. Like he's definitely gonna like
You're
use
actually
it.
going to murder someone.
Yeah.
I actually don't feel bad ragging on Ritz for choosing that though, because the freaking night before, Ritz absolutely T-boned me at
Go-karting.
go-karting.
Yeah, that was bad.
Full speed.
You didn't,
into side of my car.
apologize either, really.
He apologized the next day.
Okay, the next day. He took him a
He was
day.
nice about it the next day. Like, took the wind out of me, bruised
shit.
ribs.
He almost
I
broke
was
Jordy's
like
ribs.
so
Yeah.
messed up.
Yeah, we went go-karting the first night, and when I thought of go-karting, it's like bumper cars, but this is like real like professional, not
Go
professional, but
It's pretty intense.
yeah,
Yeah.
you go pretty quick and you crash like real hard.
Aaliyah
Yeah.
was sending us photos, and we were trying to get her to beat everyone, but I heard that she didn't do very well.
I might have crashed into her a couple times.
Someone
Just
had to do
like,
it.
just gently like from behind because she was like,
She was so slow.
She was slowing it up a little
She was,
bit,
about,
I'm
she
gonna
was
be
in
honest.
front of me for one of the, I think it was the second one, and she was so slow. I literally went on the outside around her, and she just didn't realize I was passing her, and then she like freaked out, and then like put the brake on, and I'm pretty sure she crashed in the person behind me.
That sounds
no.
about right. Yeah, and so those were 2 of our activities, and the third night was just like a dinner. And then, I mean, during the day we were doing like cool like workshop stuff with on employees. Definitely the coolest part is just getting to hang out with all these employees that like we obviously are connected to them a lot, but it's not like necessarily you get to see them that much. And so that's really cool just to get to know them. And like it's literally the people that are making the performance gear and I guess everything from on like that's related to us. Like these are the people that are developing it, and they come and do some testing as well for like the new performance shoes. Like right now they're looking at all the stuff for 2024. So I didn't get to do any testing, but these guys did some testing.
If you watched Ollie and I's episode in Zurich, and we talked a lot about the guys that kind of we worked with about the shoes, and like all those exact guys that kind of that whole podcast was about were in Boulder for the week, and Ollie and I happened to be sample-ish size, or at least close enough to
we're not special
to be the guinea pigs.
Making that very clear. It's not like you're special, so you get to test the shoes out. If you have like the right size foot, they will use you for testing. So
it is fun though.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, like to be able to do something like that is always a privilege.
Gus is kissing
in
me.
this, Gus is just giving me a kiss on the ear.
We tried
Thanks, buddy.
probably 5 or 6 different versions of a new road shoe.
We did, and that was probably the most exciting.
Yeah,
I think the spikes. Testing the spikes was fun, but testing the road shoe I think was really fun as well.
Just like concepts that like I didn't know that a shoe could feel like that. That's like kind of what it felt like.
That was
like
cool.
I didn't know a shoe could feel this way. So I don't know what timeline is on any of these things, but that was a fun couple of days.
Yeah, my favorite thing in the testing was just hearing about Ollie's. It was like a long run that they were testing them, and they had to keep changing their shoes. And Ollie was just running like 5.0 miles, like literally. Did you break 5 for any of the miles in that long run?
Couple times.
Yeah.
I was pretty angst that day. So
why were you so
no surprise
there. Just my life, okay. Just my life in general. But I was just pretty angst, and like Morgan knew that, and Morgan was like, "Yeah, you're gonna crush it," and I was like, "Probably," just to like get some aggression out, and it actually worked pretty well. But the shoes also, like a couple of them, you could just tell were so much better than those 3 that were so much better. We're doing 6, I think it was 6 testing.
I think we did do 6.
3 of them were so much better than the others. And the 3 that I think the better ones, I ran like 440 miles uphill.
Yeah,
So
Ollie was on one.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Do people get pissed at you if you like drop them, or you?
I was by myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was like solo testing.
Yeah.
Murray and I were just back talking to each other, jogging, watching Ollie, and then like we did like the testing on the flat part, and then we had to go up the hill afterwards on normal shoes, and Ollie needed a break halfway up the hill because he was pretty toast.
Oh, I needed to take a piss, but
Yeah.
in general, I didn't need a break because I was like, I think at that point I got a lot of aggression out, and it was good.
So you're feeling all right again?
Yeah, self-hatred just works
settle
well
down.
in that way.
But yeah, that was a really fun few days. Very busy few days, and then getting back into normalcy now, like just normal training routine has been very nice. I think as runners, that's what we crave, especially as the training ramps up to 100%. We had a cool long run yesterday as well. I don't know, Kate, if you guys ever do anything like this. Well, what's your longest long run these days?
Right now, like 10 miles, but
10
I mean,
miles.
like in general, maybe I do, I don't know, 12.
12. Yeah. So Riz has this thing that we do this time of year sometimes, like, because we like to go up into the mountains, Rollinsville and stuff if we can, but the weather, sometimes you just can't do it. So to make the long run super extra spicy, we'll do one where we start somewhere like Lagerman or Tom Watson, and then we'll run just up the canyon, and we'll finish up the canyon.
Yeah.
So that's what we did yesterday. And I think it was, how much elevation gain was it?
1,300 feet.
Yeah, a little over 1,000 maybe.
Over 1,000
Total?
feet, yeah. And then like the last, I want to say, 5 miles in particular of like, we had like 17 miles, and the last 5 or 6 miles are like just straight uphill, and you're just sprinting pretty much. Well, you don't have to sprint, but some of us do.
That sounds like my nightmare. I hate uphill running.
Yeah.
I'm so much worse at it. I've kind of heard Emma talk about doing that at one point back in the day, but I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like Joe would, I guess you're not maybe quite the athlete, but Joe Bossard would love that shit.
Yeah.
Because he loves people crushing long runs as well. That's where I learned how to do it personally. Before I joined Team Boss, like my long runs were like 7-minute pace.
Really?
Yeah, they're actually, at Wisconsin, we just jogged them.
We didn't really emphasize long runs that much. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes it got like we went after it sometimes, but like most of the time it was 7-minute pace. Yeah.
Yeah, we were chilling. So Now we're in that CU training mindset. Everything's different. But yeah, that brings us around to UK. I don't even know where to start, but if you had to just give a little update on like where you're at right now with everything, what would you say?
So actually, this is the even more special day. I'm 20 weeks today. So that means halfway, for those of you who don't understand pregnancy. Okay.
You're talking to 3 males.
Okay.
3 males around the age of 26.
I thought you just meant that was like a cool round number.
It is a nice number.
I like the 20 weeks nice.
20 weeks is halfway. So I think of it kind of like a long run. Well, it's kind of like the easier half. You know, like I like out and backs, and so when you turn around, it's like then it doesn't count anymore. So now I'm like, okay, well I'm halfway. Now it doesn't count anymore.
You think it gets easier from this point?
Well, in the analogy, long runs get easier at the halfway point. In my mind, it's like you make it to the halfway and then you're just going home.
That's a great
negative mileage.
Yeah.
After that.
But I think no. Now I'm gonna like actually be pregnant. Like
Yeah.
I mean,
So you don't reckon you've been pregnant yet? This will be like, okay, now I'm gonna actually be pregnant. Right.
I mean, I honestly for a while like was forgetting. I was pretty lucky with it in the beginning, and I honestly like kept up pretty normal training up until like last week. I'm still running, but like kind of pulled back a mileage a little bit. But now I'm supposed to be gaining like a pound a week.
Wow.
Which is
That's
wild.
That's some good gains.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, it's like I have to be like a lifter or something. So I'm up like 15 pounds right now.
Nice.
So I'm definitely feeling that on my runs.
Yeah, that would be very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. But I mean, I don't know. In general, yeah. What do you want to know? Can I teach you about pregnancy?
Have you got any cravings yet? Anything that's like any kind of
Yeah. Well, I was eating, I mean, for a while. So like first it's wild. You like make twice the amount of blood volume. Obviously, like you have to like literally create a human. We had the anatomy scan. And it's like you literally are growing. Everything's grown, like the organs, the brain, the bones. Like you can see it all in there. It's like an alien is growing in you.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, when you said alien, all I think about is like the Alien movie where it's gonna like burst out of your chest. That's
Okay,
all
well
I'm
hopefully
thinking.
not that.
Yeah.
But yeah. But it's like, it's wild that it's all growing. Anyway, so you're pretty tired in the beginning. I was eating like a bagel and cream cheese like every day, but I don't know if it was actually a craving or I just like...
That sounds pretty normal.
Yeah.
Like, craving is like my mum when
weird.
she was pregnant with me, like ate a bag of oranges a day.
Really?
Like my dad would go to the fruit store and grab a bag of oranges before he before he goes to work, whenever it was, and then just like leave it at the house, and my mum would take it and then just eat the whole bag of oranges.
That
And
is
the next
really
day,
specific.
the next day, my dad would get another bag of oranges and like drop it off. Like
Yeah, I don't
that was
have
like
that.
a craving for my mom. I know people have like pickle cravings or like ice cream.
The problem is like I eat pickles anyway, so I'm eating pickles. But honestly, just like I just want bagels and cream cheese. But I think it's just that they're good.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is you have to eat all the time. So like I only get nauseous if I don't eat. So
Really? That's
yeah.
interesting. Oh.
It's almost, I think of it as like a way that makes your body make sure you're not losing weight. Like when you would get hungry, I get really nauseous. So I'm like, it's a make sure that I'm eating. But
Should we have prepared food for this podcast? 'Cause
actually,
feel
I
like-
have snacks.
Okay, good. Yeah.
You always
Thank
bring
God.
snacks. That's what
Thank
you learn.
God.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of, being an athlete, it's kind of good because I feel like you're kind of used to like snacking.
Yeah.
My friends who aren't, like, they get all messed up. Anyway, a few weeks ago, I was crewing Bates and Scott in a long run, and I had a USADA like that morning, so I had to get up super early, and then last minute, like, Nick got sick, and so was like, okay, I have to go do this, like, crew them. And so usually I bring snacks all the time, but like I didn't bring snacks because I was like rushed. Anyway, so I start crewing their long run, and I'm supposed to like give them their gels or whatever, or their and I realized like 2 miles in that I don't have any food in the car.
Yeah.
And like literally the nausea, if it hits, sucks. It's like you are out all day and you can kind of feel it coming. And I'm like, fuck, I literally have no food in the car. I have like 2 more hours of this. There's literally no, and I usually have snacks in the car, but I didn't. Anyway, point being, I was like, well, I have these gels. So basically I essentially ate their discarded gels. Like I got their gels back.
That's disgusting.
I thought you were going to say the new ones.
No, I couldn't eat the new ones.
So you're saving yourself from nausea by eating discarded gels
Yeah. Which-
from a long run. That's the
Yeah.
most runner pregnancy story I've ever heard.
But to be honest, it was great because like it's meant to be like glucose straight to your stomach. So I actually was like, it should be someone should start a company that like just rebrands gels as like anti-nausea meds. But so yeah, for you guys.
Do it.
But yeah, it was a pretty runner story. So
That's unreal.
Yeah.
That's such a good story.
Why didn't you just like take a little bit off the top of the one you were giving them?
Hey guys, I ripped it for you.
Yeah, I've already got it open.
If it feels a little lighter, it's
Don't worry, it tastes good.
that now you saying that makes sense. In my mind, it was like all or nothing. So it's like I obviously can't eat their whole gel, but that would have been smart.
You were
But
desperate and you weren't thinking straight.
Yeah, exactly.
So you like discarded before like actually just taking a bit off the top.
Yeah.
Man, you would have to pay me so much money to eat someone's discarded gel. Like, I'm just like, obviously I can see where you were coming from at the time. That's desperate. That's like emergency. Like, I need to get something in, but a discarded gel to me is like,
I can't see Morgan ever doing that.
I could not
Even
do
if you were
that.
like gonna be sick, you're just like, I'll be sick.
yeah, I would take the nausea in that case, I
Yeah.
think. But,
Yeah, I know. I was pretty desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
going back to how it felt running at the start, and I feel like we've talked about this a couple of times, and the blood volume, etc.
Yeah.
I was thinking, well, we've all talked about it, but Alpuria racing while pregnant, or however many races she said she ran pregnant, which is incredible. Like, that's so
There
dope,
is a number.
by the way.
She said a number.
She said something like,
I think like 5.
I did 5 races
5.
this season
Yeah.
pregnant. Is that
Citrus Mag will fact check that, but yeah, 5. That's a
sounds
lot
like-
of races.
I think it's because she was doing. I think she did USA's and Worlds. I think it's because of the rounds.
Ah, that probably makes sense.
Yeah.
true? Did she know each time?
I don't know.
Do you think that sounds possible though? Do you think you'd run fast?
I mean, early on, if you don't get nauseous, like you could. Yeah. I mean, that's literally that was the thing with the East Germans. That's how they doped. They like got women pregnant in the 80s, and then made them abort the babies
Yeah, there's
because
been
of
some
like
bad shit about
because of like the blood volume and the hormones and stuff.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's fucked.
That's
but I
really
mean,
fucked up.
basically, that is a thing. Like sometimes you see women like after giving birth, like they have, if they don't get injured, they have a little boost. Because I think, I mean, I don't know why. It's like something about the physiology of it. Yeah.
Do you know how, like, I guess maybe it's just you play it by ear, but can you run through the whole time, pretty much, like through your pregnancy, or are you meant to like stop running at some point?
People are totally different. I mean, I think, so yeah, I mean, literally I've run up until now, like 2 days ago, I did a fartlek and like averaged like 6 miles at like 6-ish pace, 6:15, which obviously when I'm in shape, that's not great. But again, I'm like heavier and like, I'm still like working out to some degree. When I first got pregnant, I like called all the runners I know. So I like called Kara Goucher and Molly Huddle and different people and asked them what they did. It's just like super variable, I think, based on like how your body feels. Like some women, yeah, like run up until the very end. And some end up like things start hurting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's
So.
pretty good that you were calling up like ex runners that have been pregnant to like that's really smart.
It was
just
kind
to
of cool
get
that I
their
feel like
insight.
I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Because I feel like that's a it's a resource that people might not even think about
yeah.
when they're pregnant. It's like, oh, I maybe should talk to these runners who have been through what I'm about to go through right now.
But basically, it's just like what we all do, but just more intense. Is like do what feels right. You know, like if it feels not right, you shouldn't do it.
Well, you know your body better than anyone, so
Yeah.
it's like, judging
Yeah.
it would be your call.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I was saying. Well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was saying that I got drug tested and was really worried about that. Like I wasn't sure about whether or not. I mean, I know that you. Yeah, I wasn't sure about whether or not you could. So basically, like I got drug tested the morning before. I got 4 weeks. So the way it works is you have your whatever. Well,
You have your whatever.
you have your,
What does
you have
that
your
mean?
period. The way it works, you have your period, and then 2 weeks later, you need to conceive. So you guys
Good
can,
word.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
good
yeah.
word.
And then
Scientific.
2 weeks later is when you can like first test to see if it worked. So I was at USA's, and I kind of like could tell, because there's different things you can like random things you can kind of tell that you are, but you have to like you won't show positive on the test until 4 weeks into it. So technically you're 4 weeks pregnant when you first test positive. Anyways, so the morning before I was able to take the pregnancy test, USADA came, and I was so sure I was pregnant because I was like, everything feels different. Like there's different. I mean, what happens? You get really thirsty. Like your boobs start kind of hurting. Just like different things that you can just like you just know. Anyway, but I hadn't taken the test yet. and USADA came, and I was really freaked out because it's like, fuck, I'm gonna test positive. Like I'm gonna something's gonna show weird in my blood. So I hadn't told Patrick yet because I was waiting to be sure, but I told USADA. So I told USADA, I was like, and I had to write down I am pregnant. And
would you write down I might be pregnant?
Yeah.
well, so I actually had taken a test 2 days earlier because you can take them early. And when you do COVID and it's the tiniest faint line. So there was a super faint line, but I didn't want to do the one that I showed Patrick because I was like, it's so, you literally have to squint so hard. So I kind of...
He wouldn't see it either. He would look at there's no line here.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I know it's going to show up. There's a tiny line, but I was still saying, I think I'm pregnant, but I knew. So I told them, I was like, I am pregnant.
I love it that you told USADA before you told Patrick. That's another great running story. I mean, that's a smart thing to do. Definitely put it down.
Yeah.
Don't know what's going on.
Don't know what's going on.
USADA, man, they know everything.
Yeah, they honestly do.
Yeah.
Give them as much information as you can.
They know all of our secrets.
Yeah, you got to for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were talking before about just being in touch with your body and just listening to it, and obviously that made me think about what you've been through in the past year, because you've been through since you joined Team Boss, that was the start of 2021 when I was still on the team.
Teammates for a second.
We were teammates for a bit,
and then you left.
Yeah, then I left.
Disdain.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Morgan. But you've obviously had maybe the biggest roller coaster type experience in those couple of years as being a pro runner and all that. It's just been kind of crazy. Obviously 2021, I think we'll get into it a bit more, but you had kind of the classic, you missed out on making the Olympics, and then you were just on the absolute tear,
just crushing it
over in your Diamond League, I think you came second in the final.
Yeah.
And you ran 157. Almost similar to kind of similar to
Sage.
Yeah, similar where it's just they're just on fire and just
Sage didn't make the world's team and then just crushed it after that. Wait, how many times did you run 157 that season?
I think 4.
4 times.
All of them after USA?
Yeah.
So it was just so impressive to see someone bounce back like that. And then
it was sick.
Obviously coming off that type of season, you're like, all right, I'm about to go fucking destroy everyone next year. That's what you're gonna be thinking.
I'm gonna win worlds next year.
And then COVID was still a thing, and then you got COVID, and just really sad. I don't want to get too emotional right now.
Just change the mood like that.
Jesus.
So it just sucks because it's obviously most people have had COVID at this point, and there's been such a big varying degree of how people reacted, and you just got hit way harder than anyone else I know. I think it's as a runner, it was just really tough. So I think that probably, I mean, we'll get into it. I think you would have just had to learn how to listen to your body, but going back to when you found out you had COVID, and I don't even know where to start with this question, because I had COVID as well, and I felt absolute shit, but then after a month I felt good. Did you...
Even a month is a pretty long time.
A month was a long time, but with UK, what was it like those first couple months? Because I'm sure you just tried to be every day you're hopeful, yeah, I'm going to run, I'm going to feel normal again, and then it just takes a really long time.
Honestly, that was the hardest part. It's funny. I mean, I'm laughing now because obviously, in many ways, I feel very happy with where I am now. If anything, I only get down because I'm oh, that's kind of embarrassing. What a wimp that I was the one that had this happen to me,
Not at all.
But it's you can't control it. Yeah, I pushed. I think in a way it was almost related to how good the last season was. I was on such a high. I didn't want to really come down. I didn't really want to I wanted to just be race until I couldn't race anymore,
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a way that kind of gets related. It's you get more, you don't gain back as much weight. You're pushing hard in every workout and every run, you just get a little greedy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I kind of was well, I'm coming to the end of my career, maybe soon, let's just keep pushing. And obviously we can't do that, we need to take rest. Anyway, so got COVID in December, pushed pretty hard for I don't know, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, with workouts and stuff. And I just didn't realize, it was more probably even my easy runs. I just didn't realize probably that I was just putting myself more and more in a hole, now it's almost I feel my story, people then are more aware of it. Just you have to be, you just take it slow, you know? So didn't. And then there was just like probably 4 more weeks there where I was just a mess. Like literally what you're saying, like every day I'd get up, I want to feel better. I didn't feel better. And I would just like, I literally had a few days where I just like cried. Like I would just like get up, not feel better, and like sit on my kitchen floor and cry. Yeah. And I'm not someone who's like that. Like I'm usually pretty level with stuff. And it was strange. Like it was very strange for me to have such, I mean, I don't know, like such an intense thing. And there's just like, you don't know when it's going to end, you know? And I started taking videos of myself, and I was like, just like I had this video of me like literally talking about how I just want to feel normal, like running 8-minute pace. The idea of running and being able to like run 8-minute pace and have it feel normal. And I felt like I had lost that. It literally felt like I was never going to happen again. And I know that's logically not true, but then you look online, it's like, wait, am I ever going to get better? Like what's happening? You know?
You can scare yourself pretty good.
Bunch of horror stories out there.
Yeah.
Particularly with COVID, just like the uncertainty that was being put out, because this virus never existed before, so like you just don't know there's just so much uncertainty, so it's just scaring everybody,
right?
Because we don't know, like you could be that person that it could affect you and fuck you up for the rest of your life, or you could be fine a week later. And dealing with that, you're just seeing every week and every time it's just getting like it's not getting better. So it's like a very scary time, particularly with something like we just like people didn't have a lot of information about it, a lot of misinformation as well.
Totally.
I can imagine it's just like,
and then I think also scary. It was like I was wanting to get back. Every day was like, oh man, like the season's coming up, like I want to get back. So I mean, it was definitely dramatic. Like I felt I was the drama for a few weeks, and basically at one point Joe was just like, we need to like call the season. Like when you come back, but you can't get up every day like hoping it feels better and then being depressed.
Is this still indoors?
This was like no, indoors was out. This was like we were calling the whole thing. This was like probably mid to end of February, or like beginning of March, so maybe 8 weeks of it. It had been enough time that like I was just in a really intense spiral of like feeling so crappy that I take that back. It must have been the beginning of March, because I went to Mexico in March. So basically at one point I was just like, hey, we're calling the season. Like we need to like, whenever you feel better, you do, but like you can't just be always like hoping for it to get better. And I think in a way it's like, once I stepped back and realized like any injury, like if you give yourself time to heal, you will heal. That was what scared me with COVID. It was like, shit, my body, I'm used to my body healing, but then I have lost confidence in my body. But then as soon as I was like, you know what? No, like calm down. One day I'm gonna feel better. If I need to rest for a month, I'll rest for a month. And then like kind of getting back that trust, like even if it's not what I want to give it, my body will heal. Like I trust my body. Like don't listen to the conspiracy theories. Don't think you're not gonna ever get better. People get better. But you just like need to take time. So anyway, called the season. Went to Mexico for a week by myself.
You're soul searching?
Yeah.
I was just about to ask, like, what helped you get through it? I'm guessing Mexico was on the list of, like, just things to, like, go and enjoy yourself and have a good time.
Yeah, so. I mean, honestly, it's kind of that. It was just like, you know what? Like, banging my head against the wall isn't going to help. It's what we all know, but, like, sometimes we just, like, kind of get lost, you know? Like, you spiral when you want something. I wanted the season so badly. I wanted this, and I mean, again, I wanted it to be my last season. I wanted to, like, go out with a huge bang. And it was just, like, I was so excited about this and, like, how good last year was, how fun racing is. And I was like, you just can't control sometimes, you know? And so, yeah, we go to Mexico. I started a TikTok. We
love you too.
We love you, yeah. I don't even have TikTok, and I know.
I mean, but mostly just like doing funny things and like reminding myself that kind of what I'm saying. Like, I have to give my body what it needs. My body needs rest. Sucks the timing of it, and just like trusting it will get better. So, and then honestly, I started thinking like, you know what? Like, what if I get pregnant?
Here's a crazy idea.
Yeah. So,
hear me out right now. PowerPoint presentation.
That one didn't go over that well, but I mean, no, it was basically like, you know what? It's kind of one of those things where life, like, it's nothing that I wanted, but there is this weird opening of time now, and I never thought I would want to go through 2024, but like, fuck it, now I really do. And like, but the baby thing is definitely on my mind. Patrick is a few years older than I am. Like, just like, what if we just tried for a few, and just like saw, like, what if this is something that actually could be like a fun use of this time? I don't know.
That is a great quote. That will be in my head. I love it how you probably went to Patrick's like, this could be a great fun time for use for our time.
Could be fun. Hear
me out. It's gonna be a great time.
It's gonna be fun.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
This is what we're gonna do for the next month.
Yeah. I'm like, eh. So that
makes a lot of sense though.
Yeah.
I think obviously for a lot of female runners, if you're still crushing it at a certain age, you're like, well, I'd also like to be starting a family right now, but how am I going to do that? You gotta take advantage when the opportunity presents itself.
Totally. That's kind of what we were thinking. Honestly, we were engaged. We've been together for like 7 years. We weren't married yet. But literally, I was like, now, we need to do this now. Because just the timing of it, right now my due date is March, which then gives me like, if everything goes well, would give you like 15 months, which is kind of like the short end of what you would want.
I don't know how much you can control it, but try and get March 16th.
Really?
My brother's birthday.
I'm the 15th. The due date's for the 15th.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Try and get 16th. I don't know how much you can control that sort of thing.
Control it at all.
Yeah, I just if you can hold for another day or two, just yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 16th of March. Yeah.
Make the final push.
I'm sure when it's all happening, I'm gonna want to get it out as quickly as possible.
It's a great point too. I think because like it's something that male athletes in particular just don't have to deal with.
Yeah.
Like with that pregnancy thing, like female athletes, like that's a big chunk of time, and it's very hard to think about having a family, but also think about your career at the same time. And I mean, it's a problem for all women, I imagine, when you're trying to get pregnant and trying to have a family. But it's just interesting taking advantage of that time. Particularly, I think it's just a great.
I feel like fortunately in this day and age, there's so many examples of mums absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, and it's great. It just gives. I think it's just
like running their best seasons of their lives.
Yeah,
exactly. Honestly, that was part of it. Also, I was like, you know what? Only people I see crushing it in their mid-30s are moms.
Yeah.
So like, why don't I like
get their mom strength?
Yeah,
Get
exactly.
the mom strength.
That shit is real.
Yeah.
Well, I need to ask: is the dad strength real? Is Patrick going to have like superpowers after?
I hope so,
Yeah.
but I don't think he's gonna go out and like start winning races.
That's what you think.
That's what you think. He's actually planned this out. He's going to be like crushing it.
Yeah.
We used to swim, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just get back in the pool and just start crushing it.
Yeah.
That'd be unreal.
Just get out there, make the Olympics as well.
Yeah. You both made the Olympics. He makes it for swimming. What's your success? We had a kid.
That's the secret.
That's the secret. Just
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
kid. Oh, that's unreal.
You already kind of did go through this a bit, but one of the things that you describe, which I can relate to a lot, is just the feeling of like when you bang your head against the wall for such a long time and then you finally like, it's not giving up. You finally submit and listen to your body, and then it helps so much when you have someone like Joe who's like, you know what, don't stress. We're not going to do this season. That's just off the table. That feeling when you can finally just like take a deep breath and just be like, all right, all that pressure's gone. I'm just doing what I need to do for my body. Because the thing is, like, the whole time you know, like deep down what you have to do to your body, like for your body rather. Like you know that when your body's sick and you're trying to run, like that's not what your body needs at the time. But that feeling right there is like, that's the nicest thing ever in a weird way. Because obviously it sucks at the same time. But then you just like, you can take time to go to Mexico.
Oh, totally. No, the worst part was those like, it was a few weeks, but it felt like an eternity, I'm sure, for anyone involved. I was like a mess also. I was so making more than I ever have been, like making everyone around me, like just complaining all the time, or just like really, I was just so in my head and not knowing what was going on. Anyway, so literally like that was what helped. Like the day that we had that conversation, I was like, yeah, I was like breathe deeply in a way. I mean, it's sad, but you can deal with sad things. I mean, it's like better than I don't know. It's easier to deal with once you kind of accept it.
Yeah, well, because it's like, I think as runners, when we're looking at our season and when you're sick or you have an injury, it's just like the clock is running out on like getting the training in that you need for the season. That's just the most like stressful thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, that's really hard to deal with because you can't get that time back. So when you just take that off the table, and I mean, I think that's obviously where it's really important for your coach to come in. And I think it sounds like Joe did a good job with that. I think Ritz would do a pretty good job with that. Like Mick Byrne was really good at that, just like putting things in perspective. And then you move on, and then you just like, I don't know if it was like this for you, but you just discover, there's so much more to life. I guess it was because you got pregnant. So now,
Yeah. I mean, also, I think the idea is also like it was it was open-ended. It was like, whenever we feel better, if I feel better in a month, I could start training again, you know? Like, it doesn't mean just calling it, you can come back whenever, but it's like, you just need to, the idea of waking up every morning and rushing this does not work, you know? But it's like, maybe you'll still run at the end of the, like, in a few months.
Yeah.
I ended up getting pregnant, so no, but.
Yeah. When I was coming back from injury, I decided to start climbing instead. I didn't do the pregnancy route, but maybe we'll give that a try next time.
Next
time. Climbing is Morgan's pregnancy.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
It's your baby.
Yeah. No, but it's so nice just to be like, all right, there's other stuff in life. I can go enjoy that. Don't need to be some crazy runner like we are, like, I don't know, 90% of the time.
That's the issue. Runners have like the worst personality for that kind of situation. Like, they
just want to push.
Yeah. And weirdly also, I just like knowing. So for me, injuries are okay because I'm like, okay, I make up a timeline in my head, you know? I just have control issues. Like, I like having a time. So that's why the pregnancy I kind of like, because I'm like, okay, I have 20 more weeks of this, and then I'll have 3 months off. And I know that it's not real, but you just like have fake control in your head, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I had the same thing when I called Joe and stuff. I don't know if he told you that. Like, when I was dealing with COVID and it went past, I don't know, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and I'm still like feeling kind of bad. And I was like, I was a much lesser version of you, like how bad mine was, but I was probably just as dramatic, I would say. I was like,
I can see that.
So,
I can see that.
So because my mom is like a doctor in infectious diseases, so I'm just like literally annoying her like every single day, like, Mom. And like, well, this was the crazy thing for me that I figured out is like, yeah, they just didn't know. Like, it was just so variable.
Yeah, what did your mom say?
I don't know. She said like, just you'll be fine.
Rub some dirt into it. Rub some dirt into it and move on.
Yeah, she said, because it was funny because my parents had COVID, I think 2 weeks before I had it, and I guess it's probably partly genetic, but it was like a very similar, like what I was experiencing was very similar to like the symptoms that they experienced.
That's cool.
So it's like a similar timeline. So she was like, yeah, like we had the exact same thing and we're fine. And I was like, no, like I'm dying, like I need some help right now. But yeah, I definitely was just annoyed her so much, which I still do. I had a cold like 2 weeks ago. I was just like annoying her so much. She loves it. She's like, because like, I don't know, when I was younger, I used to like pretend to be sick all the time on Mondays so I didn't have to go to school.
Oh my gosh.
But she knows it's
He was that kid. Yeah. He was that kid.
He
He would
was
like
that
heat
kid.
up. He would heat up something and put it on his head, and then check my head.
Pulling a Ferris Bueller on them.
Did you guys do that?
Did I do that? My mum was brutal. No way. Like I'd be like, because I used to swim, so we'd wake up. I'd have to drive my brother 45 minutes to because the school was pretty far away. My mum would like do the classic 4:30 in the morning, grab the blankets and take them off. Like just to wake me up, she'd just do that, turn the light on, take the blankets off, and I'd be like this, skinny boy, like just trying to keep warm. That was me. Like, and I was like, oh, I'm sick. My mum's like, oh, just walk it off. But yeah, like I couldn't get away with that much stuff. If I was actually sick, then she'd be like, okay, you can take like you can cold medicine, then just go to school.
You'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
That was my thing. Is we're like kind of joking about what sport. It's a boy. So the boy, yay!
Huge.
So I can name him one of your names. No.
Please do.
Please, if it's
Gus.
the 16th, Chris.
Gus.
Oh, Gus, yeah.
Angus.
Is Angus the name? Gus's real name?
On his birth certificate, it's Angus.
Oh.
Or it's McLovin actually, but because that's what the
That's
kids.
his middle name.
That's his middle name, but the kids named him McLovin, the family that I got him from, and then they
Dogs
said you
have
can.
birth certificates?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and then I had to fill out his name
They're
that I wanted.
fancy
I said, Angus
Very
McLovin.
expensive.
And then like if I go to the vet, they just say hi Angus,
Oh.
and they have like his whole record and stuff. They have a photo of him, like his height, his weight, his eye color, his tendencies, that sort of stuff.
What are his tendencies?
Eating rocks, and there was another one they put down for me. I think it was something to do with like the way he eats food. Like he eats food really quickly.
So make a nice grand entrance, then you feel better about spending money.
Yeah.
But they love him there. Like he walks in, they go Gus, and then you just sprint behind the desk, like and be extremely rude. But
Do you think they do that with all the dogs or just Gus?
Just Gus. Come on. Nah, they probably do it with all the dogs. I mean, if you work at a vet,
Yeah.
you love animals, so I imagine every dog gets treated like an absolute king or queen. So
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so we're talking about like what sport he'll play, and Patrick was a swimmer, and I'm like, swimming sucks. I don't understand.
Swimming
You guys
does suck.
Get up
Yep.
so early. Why?
And you stare at a black line for 2 hours,
Yeah.
go to the gym, and then you got to back swim 2 hours, stare at a line. You do that every day.
And think about the
every single
parents
day.
driving you to school or driving you to that until you were old enough to drive.
Oh yeah,
Like, no way am I doing that.
It's horrible, and like the worst thing about it as well is like it's just you can't talk to anyone. So you're like literally, and particularly with swimming, like if you're swimming at a high intense level, you're not allowed to talk. Like the squad I was in at Trinity, you weren't allowed to talk during the workout. In the warm up, you could have a little chit chat, but you're in the water most of the time. Like your head's under the water, you can't talk to someone. So it was extremely. Like my brother used to do fun things. Like he used to have like a waterproof board where you'd write down your splits. My brother used to like sneak around. He's mischievous. He was a very good swimmer, and you'd draw penises or like boobs or something on like the boards. And I remember one time the coach and we were like, this is like a high level program. Like we had Olympians and like medalists and stuff. And my dad was walking in and didn't expect it. Matt Brown, who was the coach, grabbed one of the boards that Chris O drew a penis on. He was already out of the pool at that point in the warm shower. He walks up and he goes, "Do you think this is funny?" And then just like shows my dad just a drawing of Chris, the massive penis on Penny Toe's board. My dad cracks up laughing.
That's the thing. Your dad would have actually thought
he
that
just started
funny.
laughing, and then Matt, like the coach, just went off. And my dad's like, "Oh, I thought you was like it's a joke." And me and my brother were everyone was laughing. Like everyone was laughing because they grabbed their balls and some massive penis. But yeah, like swimming, like my brother made it fun, but it's it's a harsh sport, I would say. So like,
Don't do swimming. Don't
do swimming.
Don't do swimming.
Running, maybe. I would say get him into a sport that makes a lot of money. So then you have to work.
Yeah, the thing with like, it's not like with a kid, you have to start them at a young age to be good at running. It's like, you probably just want to start them at all different sports, and if those fail, it's like, all right, try running, I guess.
Yeah. like golf and like all these sports that hopefully make a lot of money. Just chuck him into that.
Yeah, what are you guys thinking?
Do you think golf? Well,
I'm just thinking a sport that makes a lot of money, so that
yeah.
Then you don't
Tennis?
have to tennis. Tennis would actually be really good. I think tennis would be fun.
Yeah.
What else? What's? I mean, I'm too scared of.
What have you guys
NFL.
gone? What have you guys decided on?
I mean, I just basically said I don't want swimming, but that's all we've got.
Did
I mean,
Patrick agree
and
with
no, like football or American football.
Yeah.
Um,
No. Did Patrick agree with the swimming? Did
He
he come
hasn't
to
really.
terms?
He hasn't really like responded. I think we also have a lot of years until this point.
Well, he will be like, okay, like our son's gonna have swimming lessons, and then that's
Yeah.
because everyone's gonna have the fundamental skill of swimming, right?
Yeah,
So then he's
but
gonna
You
lead
can't
into
avoid
that,
that.
and then he's gonna edge his way in, and he's gonna be like, okay, well, maybe a bit of squat practice, and then all of a sudden, at college,
I just won't drive, so I'm just
Yeah,
like, I'm
well, he
not,
can
I'm
drive.
not gonna
Well,
get up
it's
at
his
4:30.
thing. He can drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I played soccer growing up. I liked that. Baseball, I think, also is out. Baseball's so boring.
a lot of money though.
America's pastime.
America's pastime.
Yeah.
What is F1? Go karting.
Get them into
Just
go-karting.
don't let him near Ritz. Don't let him near Ritz in the car.
Yeah.
Get him into
Go-karting.
go-karting.
Do you guys do other sports growing up?
Yeah.
I did a lot.
Yeah.
I think we all did a lot.
Tennis, cricket,
Yeah.
Cricket?
basketball.
Surfing.
I wasn't very good.
I was
Always surfing.
big surfing background. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I think most Australian kids play soccer and cricket and like there's actually a lot of kids swim as well. But yeah, I feel like
I think doing a sport's just compulsory in school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
you have
for
to-
us.
You
Yeah.
have to pick a summer sport and you have to pick a winter sport.
same at our schools. Like
So everyone does
Newington
something.
and Newington and Trinity definitely had like you had to pick a sport to do. I'm
Is
sure.
cricket fun to play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's way more
definitely- It's
entertaining.
funner when you're younger.
Yeah.
The older you
Okay.
get, like the longer the games get and the
Yeah.
longer the days get. I played for like 10 years, and then by the time I was like 15, like it's basically taking up 8 hours a day on Saturday and
Were
Sundays.
you an all rounder?
No, I just batted.
You batted.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
So
this is
it gets so long. So then I stopped playing.
8 hours.
I imagine it's similar with baseball, where like if you're the mother, it's like, wow, it's fucking boring. Can you hurry up? But if you're a kid playing it, like it's
Yeah.
kind of fun because you're just hanging out with your friends.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's similar with cricket, where like maybe you get bored at certain times, but you find a way to make that stuff fun,
Yeah.
and that's kind of like the cool moments.
Definitely where you make your friends is through sport usually. So
Yeah,
I
I mean,
can't
Australia's
think
super sporty, so
very sporty.
everyone there does a lot of different stuff.
Can't think of it. I'm like blanking. Basketball.
Yeah.
Basketball must be so fun.
It's quite height limited.
Yeah,
It
I was
is,
gonna
yeah.
say.
Carlos always said to us, like, if he had my height, he'd be in the NBA. He said this every time. I was
No.
like, mate, you would like, because he can dunk and everything, and he's like, if I had your height, I'd be in the NBA.
At your
Yeah.
height, you can dunk, really?
No,
Oh,
well,
totally.
his height, he
Oh.
can dunk, but he said if he
Carlos
had my
can't
height,
dunk.
He can't.
he kept telling me he could dunk.
I've
think
never
he's
seen
Maybe
him
he
dunk.
shortened the basketball hoop so he
He
could.
probably said if I was your height, I could dunk.
No, he
That's
said
what-
if he was my height, he'd be in the
Well,
NBA. That's what he said.
Yeah.
No.
He did say that. I swear to God, he said
See,
that.
Carlos's dad, I think, was literally a basketball coach, and so if
Mm.
he's not going to make it, then what's the point?
He did coach me. He coached us to better basketball
Yeah.
practices. It was pretty hard to coach.
So if your kid happens to be like 6'5" or bigger, or taller rather, basketball, good
Basketball.
option.
Mm.
But
Great
otherwise,
option.
golf, tennis. I wonder if you could do a study on what was the like best sport in terms of like you can force your kid to be good at it and make the most money.
Success rate.
What happens if he's just like really good at other stuff like art or like music or something? You just be like, no swimming.
It's too difficult. Those stuff are too hard to make money in those. Too competitive.
Just the most talented artist I've ever seen. Patrick's like, no swimming. Get in the pool. What are you doing?
I've heard that forcing your kid to do stuff often works pretty well.
It worked well for us.
Is this what you've been reading in your?
Yeah, I think that's like a great way to go about it. Yeah.
Have you been reading parenting books?
I've been reading. I read like.
Reading this.
Oh yeah, the Giving Tree. No, I've been reading like. It's not parenting. It's basically just like how to not fuck up being pregnant and having a baby.
Okay.
You know.
Maybe we'll have to have you back when you've read a little bit more on the parenting stuff. But I'm actually interested, like this day and age, how they tell you to treat your kid in terms of like the fine line between like helicopter parent / let your kid just like eat.
Also discipline.
Yeah.
Like,
what's the current state of that? Because I feel like I don't know. I'm in an ideal world. I think this might sound weird, but I might homeschool my kid and then just let them like run free all day.
You would do that.
I don't know. That sounds pretty fun.
So it's very. I mean, like I would like to do that as well. Homeschooling.
Yeah. Homeschooling, but like not teach them, just like let them.
Yeah. Well,
let them figure out the world for themselves.
Let the world teach
home living. No
Send them. I mean, like to send them into the woods, and if they come back, they'll come back stronger. So.
I think you should do that with Gus.
I'll be really excited. When,
Gus will not survive.
I'll be really excited to see what your like whenever you have a spouse or something, what they say about that.
Yeah, that could be a point of contention.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think.
Are you gonna make them like a TikTok baby?
Is
your TikTok still going?
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, kind of, but I mean, it's not. I don't know. I probably will have to post something about that. The problem is kids are expensive, so I actually do need to figure out. I was just talking today. I'm like, shit, I need to actually make more money. So
they gotta pay for themselves.
Yeah.
So back to our subscriber content.
Yeah, I should subscribe, but like for
baby content.
Yeah, it's mostly like I think there's a lot of people who are pregnant or moms and who want to know about like running and being athletic. So it's not really your market, but. There's like
we can make it our market out
there.
Yeah,
we're tapping in now to that market. I feel so.
Yeah,
we're gonna,
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many pregnant running moms listen to our.
Maybe not
but
more.
Now.
Yeah.
Now we'll be able to get that market.
Yeah, we can title the video "Pregnant Mums, Please Listen," so they know this is the one. This is the one.
I think that's a good way to get like. I feel like when you say it's expensive, I mean you got to buy a bunch of shit for them. Yeah. So like the best way, have a TikTok. Get that shit for free.
Yeah, but you need to get followers. I have like 2,000 followers right now on TikTok, or 3,000.
It's pretty good. I don't even know I don't know the metrics for TikTok at all, but
it's a solid base.
Yeah. I just need to.
It's a foundation.
Yeah. So come back to me in like 4 months. I guess when I have the baby, hopefully I'll have some more.
Yeah.
Imagine if one you just like you have like a baby TikTok and it goes viral and then you just have like 1 million. You know when those things happen where it can honestly happen when you just have that viral TikTok and it just goes crazy and then you just thank your baby so much for now giving you all this free shit.
Yeah. We find it like a little odd when like parents on Instagram we see it like post so much about their kids. Just like real personal stuff.
Like a privacy thing, like with the kid. Like, does the kid really want to be seen? Like,
doesn't really have permission.
Oh yeah, sorry, clarifying. I don't think posting. I think using the cuteness of the kid is weird. Like, well, that's not true. Everyone can do whatever they want, but I think I would be more interested in talking about like my experience running through pregnancy or training or like coming back from pregnancy training.
Yeah.
Not focus as much on like
cute baby videos.
Yeah.
You know who's doing that right now is Genevieve Gregson. Jen Kaz, shout out. And Ryan Gregson. Ryan Gregson. They're like I follow her on Instagram and she posts a lot about her kind of back into running, and I'm sure it's extremely educational and interesting for a lot of female runners or runners that were pregnant or are pregnant, because like that content is like it's not really it doesn't exist as much as like you would think. So
totally,
she seems to be doing a good job with it. And like a lot of
you've learned a lot.
I've learned quite a bit.
3 key takeaways that you can give to Kate.
In the
3 tips.
In the morning, I'm just having a coffee and I'm looking at Jen Lacaz's like her runs after being pregnant. It's just really interesting.
I know, I agree. They're great.
Honestly, I don't know much because I'm pretty naive. So I just like
no, that is good stuff.
Because I think because after putting on the weight to be able to have a kid and then trying to get back to that race weight, it's like a very long process.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, it's how I agree with you. I think she's doing great. I actually also DM'd her.
Oh yeah, because she would have been a good
Yeah.
resource to
Just
talk
like
to
asking
as
me
well.
about
'Cause
different things. So yeah.
well, she wants to get back into it. From what she's like she'll probably crush it, I imagine, because apparently her work ethic's crazy. So that'd be cool to see.
Yeah. So
that is the issue. Like, mum strength is like cool and all, but also like there's a lot of people pregnant now. So there's like now you're like
a lot of people are pregnant.
Oh, I know.
Mum strength versus other mum strength.
I know.
You're competing with a lot of other pregnant ladies.
Are there a lot of pregnant people right now?
We're all due in March. Well, not there's like
All
not
due?
really.
Wait, who are these other pregnant people?
There's a group. They got a club.
There's a club of people having babies
Sorry,
in
you're
March,
not
and I don't
invited.
know
There's
about
a
it.
few runners that all seem to be having babies in March.
Is El Prio one of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Cake
then-
race.
Brenda Martinez.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she hasn't been running as much.
Who?
Abby someone.
Oh yeah, D'Agostino. Abby
Okay.
Dags.
Oh wow, that is like a lot.
I mean, I think it's mostly just like you see after it's kind of same thing as I was thinking. Maybe like there's time before the next cycle if they wanted to come back.
Mm-hmm.
But what if we also could do like a race when we're all like 8 months or something?
That would be sick.
That's
That
how you
would
get
be
TikTok
scary.
famous.
Yeah,
That's
really
actually
is.
that's how you get made.
that's how you go viral. We've just explained how to
The
go
right
viral.
mindset. Yeah, you're definitely gonna go viral with those types of ideas.
I don't know if they would agree to that. I don't know if I would agree to
Hey,
that.
you never know unless you
Joe
ask.
definitely would not agree to that.
Joe would.
You should. I mean, you never know if you don't ask. So.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Is it going to be baby fever between your team? I feel like there's going to be.
Oh, you think other women are gonna
yeah,
be jealous?
they're going to be jealous. Like, oh, I want to get pregnant now.
I mean, maybe, but they'll probably see me just like totally exhausted and then be happy that they're just racing, you know?
That's also possible.
I mean, that's the other thing is I'm like kind of not lazy, but I like sleep. I like sleep a ton. So it's
You're not going to get much.
No, it's gonna be kind of shitty.
Yeah, that's the crazy part to me. I mean, obviously there's all the stuff that happens with your body, but then it's like once you have your baby, I'm not sure exactly how many months it is, but I'm pretty sure you don't sleep for like 3 months.
That's what everyone says. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, because Kurt.
I think you said 6 weeks.
Yeah,
at
our
least,
PT just had a baby recently,
Okay.
so we've been hearing from him.
Okay.
They
Yeah,
have to feed like every 4 hours or something for
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
it's
So the longest you're gonna sleep is like 3 hours.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, and 4 hours is like in the beginning, it's even more than that, maybe, especially if you're breastfeeding. So yeah, it's wild. I don't really know how to do that.
yeah.
We'll see. I'll learn. I'll let you guys know.
Future problem.
Yeah.
Please do. I mean,
Yeah, don't worry. That's future cake and more about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Right now we're just chilling, running.
Just vibing.
Yeah.
just having fun with it.
Are we chilling or are we vibing?
Vibing. We're
We're
vibing.
vibing.
We're vibing. Is there any other pregnancy related questions we have? It just still blows my mind. It's just like you just have a baby and then you just like the baby exists and you just look after them and stuff. I mean,
It becomes your world. Like my parents said that like once they had me, it's like your whole viewpoint on life changes because you have some like your life
imagine.
becomes theirs, like kind of thing. So I imagine you experience that. I'm emotionally not mature enough to even think about looking after somebody else. I can barely look after Gus. He looks after me most of the time. I think like mostly he's just looking after me. But in general, I can imagine that's going to be a great part of your life where you have that kind of, I don't know if it's like a switch or something.
well, that is actually one question we could ask you because it's like related to us. Because obviously, I think all of us would say like just what Ollie said, where it's like we're mid-20s and it's like no fucking way would I have a child right now. When does that switch happen? When you're like, I think I could have a child.
When does that happen? Because I don't know if it's gonna happen. And I kind of like I feel like I do want kids. I want 3 girls. I've told everyone this.
I can't believe you always say that. It just
I want
sounds
3
so
girls.
weird.
You can't control it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I heard running professional runners, men usually have girls.
Really?
I don't know where
you say that.
It was on a
but then
Facebook.
There's so many conflicting arguments.
Yeah, what's
Nick
your-
Willis has 2 boys.
Yeah, what's your example for that?
I don't know. I
Jamie
just
said
read it
girl.
and it gave me hope. All right, but
And the Bruces also have 2 boys.
I do want 3. I do want 3 girls.
Actually, that's not true. If you do IVF, if you like do the thing where you take the
Oh
embryos
yeah,
out,
I heard this.
you
yeah.
can choose.
Yeah, I don't know. It's better if it's a surprise.
But then, will you be
Doesn't it-
sad if it comes out a boy?
No, I'd be over the moon if somebody would let me have a kid.
It's kind of
I'd be
fucked
over
up
the
that
moon.
you've said that you want 3 girls a lot and you've said it publicly now. So now in like 20 years when your kid is listening to this, he's gone
Well,
back
my,
to the
da-
back
my
and
dad
he's like,
wanted a
"Oh,"
girl.
he's gonna
My
be like, "Oh, I
dad
didn't
wanted a
want-"
girl, but he got 2 boys and he loves us to death. And my dad's the best dad ever. I just know that like I would like if I could just pick my fate, I would like 3 girls. Will I get 3 girls? Probably not. Will I even get to have a kid? Who knows? But in general, yeah, I'd love to have a girl. Just one, if I can. But yeah, I just don't know. My mindset's not there yet. So is there a switch? Is there a way you're like, oh, I want to have kids? Did that happen, or is that just like a gradual thing?
I mean, again, this was weird because it
COVID-induced.
literally was COVID induced. It was like
It's
a
a
side
COVID baby.
effect. Yeah, it was a side effect of COVID. I mean, I am someone actually who has never really had baby fever. I want a family, but it's not like I necessarily like. I'm not necessarily like, oh, I want a baby, but I want a family in 5 years. So it was more so just like logical, like, oh, this is the time.
The only way to get a family in 5 years.
But still have a baby now. Yeah. So I guess in a good way, I don't know if I felt ready, but I was like, oh, okay, may as well try. And then when it happened, I was like, oh, I'm excited. So
That's the best possible explanation.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's one thing is like you get excited about it. I imagine it's just a new turning point.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, I also honestly, I'm kind of not nervous, but everyone says that about like it becoming your whole life. And it's funny, even with like running, like I still have a lot of, like I still like want to like be very focused on running. And it's interesting. I'm like, it's scary because I'm like, what is my brain just gonna be totally changed? Like, will I not care anymore? I don't think so. I think I'll be able to like have two different, like love my child and also like have my own goals. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just like gonna be a totally different person.
That's gonna be crazy.
It'll be interesting. We'll come back to you and see
come back to
if
me.
that mindset has shifted. I mean, we have a teammate, Helen Abiri, who is a mum, and
Yeah.
she's still crushing it.
Yeah.
So like, it's definitely possible to be able to just like focus on your running career and love your family unconditionally. So
I think, I mean, in general, like, I'm really close to my sister, for example. I feel like I'm very loving to people in my life, and I still, like, can be really fierce on the track and, like, separate the two, you know? So, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, but I hope you guys are all dads one day.
Me too.
I mean, if anybody, yeah, that'd be great. I'd be love to be
If
a dad.
anybody wants,
he's like totally going for it. He's trying to get this to someone.
If anyone wants to help me be a dad, I'm here.
I just don't want to be one of those guys at 50 that's by himself and is sad. Actually, if that does happen to me, though, I'd just adopt.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know though. Like, this is what I think about. If you're single and you're 40 years old, you live probably such a good life. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, I do think at this point in my life that having a family is probably the most fulfilling thing that you can do. But if you don't have a family, there's a lot of other cool shit you can do instead.
That's so true.
So it's
I would definitely, if I got to that point, I'd definitely just adopt and be a single dad.
yeah, so Ollie really wants a family.
Yeah,
Well, no, I would like to, like, I don't know. I think it's nice. My dad was adopted, so I kind of would love to adopt, but it's apparently extremely difficult to adopt. So, but in general, I'd like to have a kid.
That's lovely.
I would like to have a kid. Like, I've always wanted to have a family because I come from a really lovely family. So, in general, yes, but you know, maybe not.
Maybe
in
we'll
the
give it a
cards.
couple of years.
Yeah,
See what happens.
we'll see what happens.
We'll give it 6 months at least.
6
Yeah,
months.
yeah.
No, I'm not ready.
I believe
Give
in you.
me,
I
give
still
me,
think
give
there's
me
a chance.
5. Give me 5 to 7 years, and then I'll be ready.
That's a good
So
number.
Gus's lifespan, in other words.
Well, Gus is my son, but he's kind of like my mentor as well. So
It's a weird relationship.
It's a weird relationship.
Well, on that sweet note, there was like so much running stuff that we like. You have, I didn't even like. I was gonna ask like talk about how many pro teams you've been on and stuff, but I feel like we've come to like a nice kind of conclusion here, talking about just a lot of interesting stuff that we would never have. I never would have thought we would have talked about any of this on the show. So thank you very much for coming on and giving us the.
Opening our eyes to a whole new world.
Honestly,
Yeah.
it's been really interesting podcast. I've like really like I've engaged and I've learned things, so it's been great.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Kate, for coming on. Been lovely to have you, and thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you guys next week.